is a kid that can flat out run.
Yes. Yep.
So why don't you go ahead and talk to people through what you're seeing on the film room here?
Yeah, so obviously a zone drop here. Quarterback gets to the edge. And, I mean, you could just see the spurt burst in the speed. The quarterback just, I don't think he anticipated him being quite that fast. And the thing I love about him is you'll see a lot in high school football especially. Linebackers are going to be, it's almost just like a run blitz all the time, right? Like they're going to be those really aggressive downhill type of players. But what I love about Jaiden is that he's very patient in his trigger step, and then you kind of see him be able to redirect very quickly. And there's impact not only as a run defender, there's also as a blitzer there. If you see that straight line speed and that closing burst, that's pretty rare stuff. You're going to see that the size isn't tremendous, but what he makes up for it is he comes to balance and he strikes as a tackler. Now, he is a little high, like you saw in that last clip, but even here, again, working in pursuit, that's why could he be a rover? That's where he's going to start out at. We'll see if he develops and he could stick there. But if not, I think he's going to be a dominant will linebacker because the best stuff about him, in my opinion, right now, is that he can really work in pursuit, and he has incredible closing bursts. And you see the recognition, not only as a run defender, but even there working against mesh, being able to kind of pass off and collapse quickly on the underneath route. And again, he comes to balance, he strikes. This is your rover, run and chase will. He is a special football player, special athlete overall. You can see it there. Post trigger, gets back in the sight line of the quarterback, able to break down the play. Teammate does the work here. A little scoop and score. Not score, but
Ryan. The thing you pointed out too is to be a linebacker that's going to make an impact at Notre Dame after what they did last year. You've got to get guys like this. I mean, it's the high ceiling guy, right? And I think Jaiden's got a pretty high floor. But the ceiling is there too. And the other part of it too is you give this kid a year in the Matt Balis strength program and you're going to really see him explode. Because I've seen pictures of him like working out and stuff, and he's not a super, super defined kid, which is kind of like for me when I see a non-skill player like that, I almost kind of get a little bit fired up with Matt Balis as the strength coach because you're like, oh my gosh, if this guy's this good and he's not really like a really jacked up, like wow, ready to play kind of guy, you start getting a little excited about what that kid could be once he gets some time with Matt Balis. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. I mean, we've already seen Jalen Sneed, who when he signed with Notre Dame, he was in the 190s, and Notre Dame came out with their new roster today, and he's up to 215. Yeah. He put on 15 plus pounds. Nolan Ziegler's already put on 15 pounds in his semester in the summer. Jaiden Ausberry is going to be a kid that it's not that he doesn't work. It's just a high school strength program is just not the same as a college strength program, especially someone who's as good at this as Matt Balis.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point, Brian, I think he's going to be able to gain a substantial amount of weight. I remember last time we watched film on him, someone compared him to the linebacker that was just drafted by the Eagles in the 3rd round out of Georgia. His name is escaping me for whatever reason. And Kobe Dean, yeah. So Nakobe Dean is a similar size profile as far as the height, and then Nakobe Dean ended up around like 225, 230. He was a little bit of sawed-off player. But for me, I mean, this kid's a better athlete than Nakobe Dean ever was, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Nakobe Dean is an extremely heady player, great anticipatory skills. There's no doubt. But I think that Jaiden also brings that to the table, though. So all the intangibles, I think, are there on top of also being a very athletic player.
Well, Nakobe Dean, to your point, now Nakobe Dean, he played Mike for Georgia, correct?
He did, yep.
That's what I'm talking about, because why he was instinctive and he could run and he played stronger than his size. But Nakobe Dean, I'm looking at his rivals profile right now. He was 6 foot, 215 pounds coming out of Mississippi.
Yep.
Played at Horn Lake High School in Mississippi. 6 foot, 215 pounds. Jaiden Ausberry is 6'1", 215 pounds. The size is certainly there. And again, that's why I say, 15 years ago, this kid's a pure rover. The game has changed though. It's just not that type of thing anymore.